Life after prison, it's not easy. Take, for instance, this national statistic. A robber is more than 70% likely to commit another crime upon release from prison. So how do we as a nation punish criminals, then help them rebound to have a fruitful life? Organizations like Harmony House can help you. This is a home in Marietta, Georgia, where about 5 men live at a time for 90 days, learn how to get a job and succeed in the outside world, which is certainly key. As part of HLN's in-depth look at America Behind Bars, I'm joined by Reverend Hardin Perry and Harmony House success story, Anthony Long, who was once a resident. Good to see you both, and now you're a resident manager. Yes. Great to have you here. Anthony, tell your story. Take us back to when you were released from prison and your darkest moments thinking, okay, how am I going to make it on the outside? What's my next step?
Well, I didn't have any place to go. And I was distraught, wondering where my next step was going to be. And I reached out to one of the pastors at Turner Chapel Church, and he said, you never know what the Lord has in store for you. So, I was patient, and the next thing I know, I seen a sign on the jail door saying for Harmony House. I filled out the application and got accepted. About 2 weeks later, I got released, and I was in the program.
And now you're helping others.
Yes.
You go back, and how is that for you, the experience of helping others?
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I'm growing and still learning while I'm in the program right now. And just to show somebody you can make it. It's a better light at the end of the tunnel.
I think this is so important, Reverend Perry, because we hear time and time again, prisoners get out of jail, get out of prison, and they say, I didn't know where to go, who to turn to, so they go back to the life that they knew, which is a life of crime. How did you get involved with starting this, and tell us about the success stories you've seen out of it?
Well, our program started out of our prison ministry at our church, and it's actually, we put together 4 parts of our prison ministry, and one of the parts was aftercare. And we started aftercare probably back in 2002. We met with the local deputy sheriff and law enforcement officer to find out exactly what are some things we could do to help the men and women, when they take their transit out.
And what do you do specifically? You give them resume training. This is specific in terms of how to make it on their own and get a job. And it says 86% of the guys who complete the program are not rearrested. That is a great number, Reverend.
Yeah, well, because see what happens that when guys are incarcerated, they find themselves locked up, but when they come out, they find themselves locked out. And the problem is that what it means basically is that when they're inside, they see these barriers. They have physical barriers. They see the wall. They see the chain link fences or what have you, or the barbed wire fence. And so, but when they get released, they still have barriers. And there's more or less social barriers, economic barriers, or either they find themselves locked out of getting a job, locked out of getting an apartment, locked out of their own home because they can't go back to their families. And one of the things we do is try and break those barriers. I mean, they've served their time, they've paid their debt to society, but they still have to deal with this stigma of being an ex-offender. And it's interesting that because they were incarcerated, they may have been incarcerated for maybe just 2 years, but when they come out, they find themselves socially incarcerated for the rest of their lives.
Of course, it was an adjustment period. You have to acclimate yourself to get back in society. So it takes time. It doesn't just happen like that.